Hey, Mystic Michaela spiritual family. Welcome to Know Your Aura with Mystic Michaela today. What medical issues can be manifested in your energy? Which medical oddities tend to show up with your aura color? And how can your body speak for you when you're repressing spiritual needs? We're going to talk about that today. But first, hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys.
So I got this idea because I saw this thing online, and it was about astigmatism and how people with astigmatism have a really hard time driving at night because of all the LED lights,
Right.
You know, and I'm like, or, you know, that, of course, or you're indigo, you know, because personally,
Yes.
as an indigo and then talking to a lot of other indigos, the astigmatism thing, and I'm not saying, like, obviously a lot of people have astigmatism and they're, you know, it's not related to that, but a lot of indigos are very light sensitive, and light, especially the LED lights, it like just glares through our eyeballs, and it really causes a lot of problems. So, you know, two things can be true. And I'm like, you know, what other oddities are attracted to aura colors? Because I hear a lot of them, and I thought it'd be interesting to talk about it.
All right. What do you have for reds? What's your number one, would you say, for reds?
Well, I'm gonna get in, and I'm gonna deep dive into each aura color, but I say, like, you know, blood pressure.
Okay.
And that's you.
Well, yeah, that definitely fits me.
Yeah.
And I wondered that, you know, why do I have high blood pressure?
Yeah, like, what are you repressing within to make your body manifest high blood pressure
Right.
moments?
Now, the doctors tell me it's because maybe I eat too much pizza.
Yeah.
And there's, like, salt in the cheese.
Oh, sodium?
Yeah, sodium. And then, or, you know, I eat bagels a lot.
Okay.
I think there's salt in, is there salt in bagels?
Oh, yeah.
You know, right.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I'll just take the kosher salt and just, like, shove it into my mouth.
You just eat it.
Yeah, just eat it like that.
Just raw.
So, I mean, I guess that would contribute to it.
Yeah.
But I don't believe them.
Okay. I mean, the thing is, like, I do believe them.
Yeah.
But also,
But yes. Okay,
I eat all that stuff too.
Right,
And my
you're
blood pressure is
real
like,
low.
so it's almost scary low.
Well, then I thought maybe it's like a yin and yang. Like mine's like, I don't know what mine is. Well, I take a pill now. But I don't know what mine is. Like what?
Yeah, you're on that was a journey.
Yeah, it was a journey. So like mine's like probably the 120s or 130, whatever.
Yeah.
With the pill,
Yeah.
by the way. And yours is like what, 90
I'm like
or something?
90.
So maybe it's like we just like kind of balance. And then together we have like a normal blood pressure.
Yeah,
of like
I feel like you've made that
110 or
joke,
something.
and I feel like you've made that joke on the podcast.
I have.
I'm having
Yeah.
KYA deja vu,
Yeah. I am.
which is a phenomenon we all might have.
Well, here's the thing. We've been doing this for like 5 years now. It would be impossible for me not to repeat
It's
things.
like
I don't have
listening
anything
to
left
grandma
say.
and grandpa.
You guys have already heard everything I have to say. I have nothing left to say. So I have to start repeating. Okay.
You can reuse jokes, Scott. That's okay.
Now, here's my theory on the blood pressure. Okay, so the
Okay.
doctor, I can't stand going to the doctor, by the way. They think they know everything. That's a whole nother issue where this green person just tells you all about you and they think they know you. But all right, fine.
You pay them to show up
I know,
there.
and you pay them.
Well,
And
that
you pay
means
them.
you ask them to
I know.
care.
And I pay them, right. And I want to get out of there. That's like the only place like I want to get out there as soon as possible.
Right. You want to get the least for your money.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've already paid you.
Right.
And I just want you to tell me I can go now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe, is that the only place that happens? I don't know. But
School.
yeah. I think that there's certain things that lead to my blood pressure being high. And I'm going to have to do a lot. I do shadow work to try to fix these things.
Okay, so give us your shadow.
Okay,
work.
so it's definitely cats. The cats.
Oh, that's okay.
They are. I would say we have 3 cats.
Yeah.
They are Binks, Dusty, and now
The new one.
The new one,
Cleo.
Cleo.
He won't say her name.
I'm not there yet. I'm not.
He's an embrace.
I'm not ready to say her name.
I know.
Yeah, I feel she's an intruder right now.
Why do the cats go deeper?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because you do. Like, you get mad that, I don't know, they're not pleasers or something.
Yeah, well, the new cat right now is bothering me because she's like a freeloader.
Okay.
I feel like she's just freeloading.
Yeah.
You know, just hanging out upstairs, comes down when I eat a turkey sandwich, no sodium, low sodium turkey. Then she just wants to eat the turkey, and that's all she wants. And then when I'm out of turkey, she just leaves, and
you feel used.
Right. I feel used.
Yeah.
But okay, so the cats are definitely the number one thing for my blood pressure right now.
All right.
So they elevate. That's like 15 points. They're 15 points.
I believe that.
I'd be 15 points lower if we didn't have cats.
Yeah.
Number 2, award shows. I don't know why.
Oh.
They just bother me.
We can't put them on around you.
Yeah. Why? What shadow work can I do so that I could be okay watching an award show.
You can't. I mean, it's getting worse. Like when the Grammys were just on, I think I forget when the Oscars are coming on. I can't even watch them in the same room with you, and the kids won't either.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, either leave the room or just watch it in secret without dad around.
All right, so there's another 10 points.
You get very, actually upset.
I know. I don't understand. All right, so there's another 10 blood pressure points.
Yeah.
So that's like 10 plus 15, that's 25.
Okay.
And the third one is Disney. I mean, Disney is a huge raiser of my blood pressure.
Yeah.
And, I made pacts and vows. I said, I'm never going to go there again.
It's true.
And we're going.
We're going again.
This weekend.
We prevailed.
Abby's birthday, Bree's birthday. This is the birthdays week.
Yeah, the kids are like 3 days apart.
Yeah. So we're going to Magic Kingdom. I vowed never to go there again. Or maybe I said in like 8 years I'd go again.
Something like that, yeah.
And I already feel as it's getting closer, my blood pressure going up.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of, obviously I have a lot of issues. I'm bringing some things this time though.
Okay.
I am bringing Gorilla Glue.
For
and
what?
a staple gun.
For what?
For my wallet. Because
so corny. Disney's greedy, Megan. Disney's greedy. Pack the Pop-Tarts. I'm not buying food.
I have a theory that Tinkerbell, at some point,
eat a Pop-Tart.
You're there. You're in the Magic Kingdom. You're getting hit by strollers.
Yes.
And my theory is that Tinkerbell goes into your pocket and goes into your wallet and just takes the money out. It's like magic. And it's part of the magic to them.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that magical that Tinkerbell took a 20 out of your wallet? You didn't even know it. So I am combating that this year with Gorilla Glue and a staple gun.
Right.
Do you think it'll work?
Sure. Sure, honey. Yeah. I mean, I think all those things combined are just when you feel out of control.
Okay.
Of I guess your house or your money or the injustice in the world. That's relating
so
back
those
to
would be so it's right. So if we go, cats would be the house.
The house.
The award show is
like injustice in the world.
Yeah, like because they're buying all their awards and they don't deserve them.
Yeah, they're not like people that we should be applauding
for. They're
right.
horrible people.
I'm just repeating you. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you're repeating me. And then number 3, Disney would be my money. Okay.
Yeah, Disney's greedy, Megan.
So that's why I have high blood pressure. If we could take those 3 things out, I would be like 115 over whatever the other bottom number is supposed to be.
Right.
70, I don't know.
That's it. Yeah. It's easy fix for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think out of all the aura colors, we'll find that like red auras, it's very environmental. And it's hard. It's hard because you have to kind of find that place in yourself where you don't need the environment to be always perfect to stay in check, to stay in balance.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes total sense. I'm ready for a quick break.
All right. When we come back, we're going to talk about medical issues with the auras. Are you sick and tired of those mealtime fights with your kiddos? Yeah, me too. Well, this podcast is sponsored by Nurture Life. It's 2025. Are you still feeding your kids like it's 2005? Nurture Life is a meal delivery service focused on helping busy parents easily feed their babies and kids from 10 months old to 10 years old. The company provides fresh meals and snacks that are delicious, nutritious, and fully cooked. That means they are ready to serve in just 1 minute. Nurture Life lets kids enjoy a healthy, nutritionally balanced diet while still eating all their favorites like mac and cheese, spaghetti and meatballs, and much more, so parents can be sure there's always something on the menu that their little ones will love. That's why Nurture Life is the top meal delivery service for babies and kids, and it's even allergy-friendly too. My kids love Nurture Life corn dogs. They could eat these all day long. This is their favorite food in the entire world. And I'm telling you something, they're delicious. And when I make them for my kids, I can't help it. I want some too. So how does Nurture Life work? It's very simple. You just select from over 50 varieties of nutritious, balanced meals on their weekly menu, from finger foods for babies and toddlers to kids' meals for your older kids. Then Nutritious Life does the cooking for you, and the fresh meals are just delivered straight to your door in refrigerated packing. That is it. I love it. That's why my kids adore Nurture Life, and I do too. So what are you waiting for? Head to nurturelife.com and use code KYA for 55% off your first order. That's right, 55% off. Once again, that's nurturelife.com, and make sure you use my promo code KYA so they know I sent you. Even if you aren't a parent with young kids, but you know someone who is, make sure they share our code so our show gets the credit. It means a lot to us. So what are some medical issues that are related to your energy, to your aura? Okay, before we get in here, obviously, if you've been following me for enough time now, you know I'm a pretty grounded person, and I'll just say it right here. I like doctors, okay? I like doctors. I believe in medicine, and please go get checked out. Like 100%, you need their professional care and help and assistance. And I believe in all that stuff. And I would never say that anything that I'm about to say replaces that. 100% no. But I will say this. I will say that I feel like a balanced approach will help you stay healthy, and it will help you get out of illness slumps, and it may even help you get out of some illnesses altogether. And I believe that too. So I just feel like there's a spiritual aspect here where you have to pay attention to your energetic body as much as your physical body as well. So what does healing yourself mean? I mean, this is not a new concept if you've been kind of hanging around spiritual circles. This is not new. Okay, this is nothing that has not been said before, but you know, the mind does affect the body. This is just going to be how I see it in aura color and how I see it happening in readings, and how hopefully you'll take something away from it today that can help you right now. Your body will speak to you if you do not speak for it. So what does that mean? That means that what is sometimes will happen is that if you keep ignoring your emotional or energetic or these sensitivities that the world tells you aren't real, your body will start manifesting them for you as a way to speak. You're not paying attention to the poor relationship you have with your partner right now. Okay, I'm going to start giving you chronic migraines. Or you're not dealing with the trauma of what happened to you, you just keep stuffing it down. Okay, I'm going to give you fibromyalgia. I'm not saying that we cause stuff, by the way, ourselves, like it's your fault you're sick. So please don't take that from what I just said. I'm just saying that I see that bodies will speak for you when you're not paying attention. For example, me, I always have this issue with this one tooth. And it always happens when I know I'm not speaking up for myself in certain family situations. And that tooth starts, and I've had so many problems with it and so many issues, and they don't even know why. And I'm like the most on top of it person you've ever seen with my tooth health. But that is because, hey, you're not going to speak up. Now your mouth's going to start hurting because you need to speak up. I know it sounds kind of crazy, psychic lady. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I will also say that when I just give into it, like, ooh, something's hurting me. What am I ignoring in myself right now? Like, what is going on that I'm not paying attention to is my immediate next question. And of course I get things checked up. Of course, when my tooth was bugging me, guess what? I had to go get a retreatment at the doctor, but at the endodontist. But here's the deal. And he told me, oh, from a root canal you had on that same tooth 20 years ago, they didn't get a root. So yes, of course, here's a logical explanation for why your tooth was bugging me. But it's so weird that it just popped up at the same time as another life crisis was happening where I was keeping my mouth shut and stuffing things down when I should have been speaking up for myself. So it's just, you notice things, and I just always say, why not? So when something's bugging you, why not take a moment and be like, what am I ignoring in myself? And what can I take response? If nothing else, it gives you a sense of control. When you feel sick, you lose that, and that can kind of give it back to you. I mean, how many of us we get stressed, we get run down, we get a cold. I mean, it's not even a leap to believe it. It's just something that we don't want to manifest into bigger and bigger things. And if you are dealing with an illness, it's something that, while you're dealing with it and you're going through all your procedures and you're seeing all your appointments and you're following through with your medical care, something also you can do is look to your energetic or your spiritual health and be like, okay, what am I ignoring? Here's a big thing I see a lot with all of you that I read. Your body will make the excuse if you ignore your empath aura issues. What does that mean? Okay, so all of you listening have probably 2 or 3 aura colors, and one of your aura colors is definitely, if not both of them, purple, blue, indigo, or turquoise. And it happens in different ways, but basically the 3D world, or the world that we live in, does not allow emotional issues to be an excuse. So I have too much on my plate is not an excuse for why to say no to an obligation. Okay, or I feel uncomfortable walking into the office around this person is not an excuse in the 3D world, to go talk to HR about it. In fact, the 3D world will say, that's more trouble than it's worth, isn't it? Wouldn't it be easier just to let it not bother you? Wouldn't it be easier for you just to shove it down somewhere and just grit your teeth and do it? That's what the 3D world tells you to do. And sometimes that's what we do because we live here, and sometimes crap just has to get done, right? But over and over and over again, when you're ignoring in one space or many spaces and it becomes a pattern, what I notice is your body will start making the excuse for you. You're not listening to your feelings. You're not listening to that discomfort. You're not listening to the feeling of stress or numbness or anxiety. You're not listening to that. Okay, let's manifest that into a medical issue. Now you can't ignore it. Now you have a diagnosis. And that is what I see all the time. A lot of times with caretakers, if you're a caretaker, it is hard. And it's an impossible situation because some of you are in situations where I have to caretake somebody. And it's not like I can say quit on that. But at the same time, your body starts quitting on you. So there's kind of moments where your body will just make the choice for you. And the solution is validating it, speaking to it, and giving yourself space where you can to heal when you can. I'll give you an example. I had a client and she was abused. Now, this woman was in her 60s, okay, but her mom was still alive, all right? And her mom she was sharp as a tack, but needed care all the time. And there were other siblings. And this woman was the one, all the other siblings were not it. And she was the one taking care of mom because mom was really abusive growing up, really bad. And she didn't change. And even though this lady was 60 something years old, when she was around this woman, she became a 6-year-old little girl again. And she was also the one not just physically caring for her mother, but financially caring for her as well. And she was alone in doing it. She had no support from anyone else, siblings, or anything else. And she felt stuck. I mean, her mom was really old and actually did need the help. And it was something that it's what are you going to do? This is my lot in life. But what happened was she developed a who knows what, multi-symptomatic full body issue, which nobody knew what it was, but it was deteriorating. And she kept going to doctor after doctor after doctor and tests and tests and tests and tests. And finally, they diagnosed her with some sort of autoimmune condition that was attacking her violently. And she was not just saying, and all the doctors were like, this is debilitating. You're going to end up in a wheelchair. You have to take care of yourself. You got to put yourself first. And the mom had to end up going up north. This lady lived in Florida. So the mom had to, she got sent up north for one of the other siblings to take over now. My question is, it's just a question for all of you. Is this something that would have happened if she wasn't taking care of her mom? That's my question. Do you think taking care of her mom had something to do with her getting that illness? Was that the only way she felt she could get out of taking care of her mom because she couldn't deal with her mom's energy when she said, I can't do this anymore, or put boundaries around her mom or her siblings when they just kept saying no? Did she have to go to a place where she was so physically ill with doctors validating her that finally she got the break that she so needed? That's just a question for you. And I'm not supposed to, I don't mean to scare you all, but I guess I've been doing this so long, like talking to so many of you that, and I got to take this advice myself. Like, don't get me wrong. Okay. Like, I don't know all this stuff. I usually am in a reading and your guides are telling me something and I'm like, oh, I need to listen to that too. Like 9 times out of 10. So I need to listen to this too. But my question for you is, where in your life is this happening so that you can get some control back? And because I get so passionate, I feel like I'm being really passionate about it because I'm picking up a lot of what spirit, they'll usually come through and say, you have to do this differently. Or if you're doing something that you don't want to do, you have to something's got to give. You got to edit and delete something in your life or something in the situation. You got to put up boundaries somewhere. You have to take control over it where you can, just so that you don't deteriorate internally when your body starts making the excuse for you. Okay. I feel like I just was scary, but I don't mean to be scary. I just want to validate that if you're going through something, it's real. And you're worth the time it takes to listen to you, to listen to yourself. Because, a lot of you just go because you want to be good for the people around you. But if you don't take care of yourself, you can't be good for anybody, And I know that's cliche, but it's actual like logic in my world, like in the spiritual world. But we're all working on it, me included. All right. So I wanted to talk about different little oddities, medical oddities that seem to plague all the aura colors. Now, 2 things can be true is one of my favorite things to say because, of course, these are things that are genetic or inherited or just flip and happen. Of course, I know that. But it's also something that sometimes I will see, gathering toward those who are of a certain aura color. So when I come back, I'm going to go through each aura color and some medical oddities that connect to that. The back pain. Every time my husband would toss and turn, I'd wake up. These were just some of the problems from my old mattress. I thought this was life. I thought this is just how one must live. It is not. And in the months since I've gotten my Helix mattress, I do not have back pain anymore. And the tossing and turning from my husband does not affect me at all. Their website is great at helixsleep.com/KYA. You can go there and you can take a quiz. And if you're a single sleeper, you can take it for yourself. And if you sleep with a partner, you can take it for the both of you. And this quiz will match you with the most perfect mattress. And that's what I did. And this mattress came right to my door. It's magical, possibly. It came right to my door. I didn't have to go anywhere. And it is such a quality, wonderful mattress. It truly has, you don't know how much a mattress can upgrade the quality of your life until you get one. And then you get it. Well, here's an offer for you. helixsleep.com/KYA for 27% off site-wide. It's their President's Day sale. This is the best offer available. It's exclusive only for my listeners and better than what you'll find on the site. So you'll go to helixsleep.com/KYA to get 27% off site-wide. Let's talk about medical issues that seem to connect to certain aura colors. And let me start with the yellows. Oh, yellow auras. Okay. So yellow auras, if I had to sum up the problem with the yellows, is they have a hard time like digesting the way things are sometimes. So I guess the metaphor for that is sometimes they actually have problems with digestion. I'll see yellows with, I don't know, like IBS, or sometimes they can get a little constipated or colitis, or they get ulcers. I mean, little things like that. because I notice with yellow energy, it's a lot of like perfection, attention to detail, control, trying to move ahead into the future all the time, harder for them to be present than other energies. So sometimes I can also see them having infertility issues is a big one for yellows. And if I've read you and you're yellow and you're having infertility issues, I'm like, yep, because you're yellow, and we talk about that a little bit. Again, is it the only reason? No, of course not. Not blaming it on your personality, like whatsoever, or your energy or how you are. It's just these little things that just can attach. And honestly, I feel like understanding that about your energy allows you to take a minute and change it up and focus on something other than your yellow energy in that aspect of your life. Sometimes with yellows, it's nerve pain, neck pain, back pain. It's like, usually I see with neck and back pain, I'm always trying to be perfect. I'm always trying to be together. I'm always on alert, kind of like that. I would say like for yellows, just spiritual, because like, what do you do with this? All right. How do I fix this? Okay. Well, I would just say like paying attention to places in your life where you aren't perfect and patting yourself on the back for that is like one just very small way that you can, these things will trickle down into your physical health. So for example, all right, I'm leaving the dishes messy. I'm going to bed with a sink full of messy dishes. I know all you yellows are like, oh, gross. What if you did it? Like what if you did it? And then as you go to bed, you just pat yourself on the back. Like, I am so proud of myself for just letting that one go. Waking up in the morning, it's all gross and crusty, but you're like, you know what? The world didn't end. Good job, me. Just like something little or focusing on, you know what? I didn't get everything done on my list today, or I didn't do XYZ perfectly, or I did forget that. And then instead of beating yourself, just being like, it's okay. Life happens when it's messy. Life happens in the mess. It's okay. All right. So like little things like that. What about blues? Blue auras, I usually see them, a lot of hormonal issues, thyroid stuff, sometimes reproductive issues in terms of, super not a doctor here, so excuse my bad vocab, but sometimes I can get just, if honestly, I don't know, when I talk about like menstrual cycles and blues, it always, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes if you have a problem, it feels like, what's in the way? Is there scar tissue? Is it cystic? Or like, what's in that? It always feels like it's busy in there. I don't know what that means, but that's what it'll feel like to me. Autoimmune stuff is big for the blues. Body attacking itself, multi-symptomatic, like what's this hurts, and then this hurts, and then that hurts, and then this is happening. Circulation problems, like blood disorder stuff. Listen, anybody can get diabetes, but like sometimes I'll see it a lot in blues. Canker sores. This is indigo too. So if this sounds like you and your indigo, this can be indigo too. Dental stuff, mouth stuff, because you're not always speaking your truth. So your mouth, your throat chakra can start acting up on you, like strep throat. Okay, like reoccurring strep throat, or again, neck pain issues because you're trying to be good all the time. So a lot of stuff where, especially thyroid, I think I said too, because it's kind of like throat chakra. I'm not saying my truth. I'm not saying what needs to be said. I'm pushing it down. I'm swallowing it. So sometimes in that energy field, the place where it's supposed to come out, the place where your energy could be released in your body, like say the thing, put the boundary up, say no, it gets stuck there and can cause like these little issues. And, you just don't want them to pile up. Gosh, I know when I talk like this, I sound like a crazy psychic lady. CPL, I get it, but hey, if it helps, right? So indigos, a lot like the blues, and blues are going to relate to indigo stuff too. But again, autoimmune issues, sensitivity to metals with indigos. Like you might find yourself like, I can't have this metal around me, or this gives me a headache. Indigos, I mean, turquoises too, and this is, again, I am super not a doctor. I will preface that. This is just a crazy lady talking, okay? But you ready? I think I prefaced that enough so you shouldn't listen to me. But Lyme's disease, I feel like indigos and blues too, but indigos and turquoises too. Depends how, I feel like more susceptible to it. Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy. Bright lights, migraines, anything sensory can cause indigos having like really bad chronic headaches or like ice pick headaches, if you know what that is. Those are the worst. Like the sinus issues and stuff like that. Insomnia, depression, neurological stuff, like just your brain not working right, cloudy, fuzzy, things like that, fibromyalgia. All right. So the big thing with indigos is it's like when you're overstimulated energetically. It's just, that's why you know when you have to kind of isolate, you just have to get away. Like if you feel fight or flight, if you feel flight mostly, that's a very body response to, I got to get away from all these people's energy. I think I talked about this before, but my optometrist office for my daughter, and the poor lady, she was just like, the place was so flippin' bright. Like it was rudely bright in there. It was offensively bright. So many hat lights just on her. And she was like rubbing her temples. I'm like, and she was indigo. I'm like, got a headache. She's like, oh yeah. I'm like, I wish you could, like shut the lights in here or dim them. She's like, I wish I could, just like a little thing like that can help you. If you work in an office and you're the dark office, you're like indigo, it's like, this is the dark cubicle in here. And you got your scents going and the lights down and it's real chill. Yeah. Water sounds can help. I think a lot of it's just like you have to put a physical boundary between you and other people's energy and also sensory stuff. Turquoises, I notice, have a lot of rashy issues, like rashes, different types of skin issues, like maybe a little psoriasis, maybe a little eczema, maybe a little like random, like heat rash. When I get stressed, I break out, that kind of thing. Sometimes mental health stuff. I mean, everybody is susceptible to that. Don't get me wrong. But I think with turquoises, it's kind of like, who am I can lead to kind of personality confusions. So certain mental health issues related to personality and identity, food sensitivities, really just, you might just notice it. You can't eat gluten anymore. You just bloat, or like weird food allergies that shouldn't be a food allergy. I'm going to add one to this and I don't know what it means, but bendy, that's my own word. I noticed with turquoises, they're just kind of bendy. Like, I don't know, your elbow works funny, or your thumb always falls out of its socket, or like just weird crap. Tell me if I'm right, turquoises. Okay. Hormonal stuff, obviously. All the empath auras are going to have hormone stuff. Tough metabolism, I feel like, with turquoises. And again, fibromyalgia, autoimmune. I feel like with turquoises, they can kind of space out from their centers a bit when they're in other people's energies. So they really need to get drawn back to themselves. Activities like journaling or listening to HC frequencies or walking in nature with no distraction, or just using I statements when they do mantras. I am safe. I am grateful. I am peaceful, can bring them back to themselves. Because I feel like when they space out, their bodies start to kind of slow down or get stagnant on them. Greens. Greens, allergies, the pollens, and because they're green, they'll know exactly what it is. It's like the ragweed is high late March, because they'll have an app for it or something. Asthma, a lot of lung stuff with greens. Back stuff, back issues, indigestion, joint pain, like knees, like joint, circulatory issues sometimes, but more in the chest region. And again, respiratory, like lung, like they need clear air, or they're more susceptible to air impurities causing problems. I feel like with greens, what it is they need to connect to themselves, not disassociate from emotion. So a lot of the stuff seems to be connected to, this is how things should be based on logic, based how they are in their emotional fields. So, for example, I think with greens, they can look at their life and be like, okay, this is going on, this is going on, this, therefore everything's fine. or therefore everything's not fine. They're kind of looking at their life around them like it's a system or like it's a chart, instead of kind of walking back in and saying, hey, how do I feel? I notice with greens, a lot of it's like, I call it the container versus the contents of the container. Like, they're really good at establishing what the container looks like and how good it's going and how solid it is, but they have a hard time filling the contents of that container. And you do that just by kind of checking in with your emotions. And even if they're messy, even if they don't fit on the chart, making maybe a separate little chart for them, even if they don't make sense. I feel like that's kind of what a lot of those are callback to. With reds, a lot of heart stuff, blood pressure, cholesterol, kind of all like adrenal fatigue, some colon. They gotta watch their colon health, foot pain, leg pain. Reds always want to claim self and space and control. Sometimes with foot pain or leg pain, it's like fear of moving forward a little bit because I don't know what's going to happen there. I have to stay safe, so I'll just stay here. So that fear can kind of cause these ailments in a way. Also, they have a hard time like regulating their. Red is a very powerful, passionate energy, and it's like an energy that takes. It's kind of like when you use a really big battery for a really small toy. That's kind of like a red aura. Like, they got a lot of energy in a body. So sometimes their heart just pumps a little different, and their reds, their blood's rushing a little quicker, and they're like, everything's just like, like whooshing through. It's like when you see those big engines and the little cars, it's like, oh, okay. So sometimes if the engine's too big and the car is too little, we need blood pressure medication like that. So it's just kind of understanding like, hey, where's another outlet for all this energy? Because I can't just keep funneling it through myself. I have to put it into working out, put it into a project, put it into teamwork, put it into somewhere else, speaking out or advocacy or whatever. Yeah. And then purples. Oh, purples. Purples are like everything. Okay. Purples, mental health, I would say, is the big one. I'll give you purples this. You have no problem admitting that things might not be great in the mental health arena. And I am proud of you for that. Like, purples, of all the colors, I feel like, yeah, obviously we got some mental health issues. And that's why I love a purple. And even though they can be a little messy on paper, they will admit to it. And admitting to it is how we fix it. So sometimes they have like a lot of addiction. Now, again, any aura color can have all these addiction, but I just noticed with purples, it tends to be the thing. Eating disorders. I've talked about that before. Again, all aura colors can suffer from this. I just, poor purples. Dry eye, some panic, anxiety stuff, migraines, seizures. Sometimes they're unable to see past their own emotions. They get, it's very complicated in a purple aura energy. You get very wrapped up in the universe of you. It's a whole separate solar system of emotional stuff happening in there, and it is busy. And when people ask you, and when it's real spiraling and it's got a lot going on, and you add to it just not just the chemicals, in the body that you're born with, but also whatever's going on around you that feeds into it, you can really get lost in that universe, lost in space there. And it's hard to see past it. So I just notice with purples, they need to be creative. Like, they need to write it out. Like, they need to put their darkness on paper. They need to outlet in that way. Sometimes I'll read people and they're, dealing with teenagers or something. And I had this one, and she's like, my daughter is writing some real scary stuff in her journal. And it wasn't like scary, like, because obviously there's lots of different types of scary. Hers was just like really dark poetry. But nothing like I'm going to hurt myself, or nothing like that's kind of like, okay, we have to go talk to somebody now. It was more just kind of like an exploration of what she was going through. And honestly, like, to me as a purple, I feel like that's healthy. She got it out on paper. And that's what a lot of us purples got to do. Like, you got to get it out on paper. Like, you have to put that somewhere. So it does. And it helps you leave the universe a little bit and look outside and see perspective. Like, okay, I got a little bit of this out. Whew, I feel a little better, and that's why you need those creative outlets to help you just kind of not be so consumed by it all. And pink auras. So pinks, they have the reproductive issues, I think, pop up a lot when I'm talking to pinks, and endometriosis is kind of like a big one. Again, a lot of us can have that. And, pink is kind of an empath color. My favorite thing to say is pink is an empath aura, like Y is a vowel. Hopefully that makes sense. So they kind of fall in line with a lot of what I was talking when I talk about like turquoises and blues and purples and indigos. But, skin rashes, sensitivities to different foods and whatnot. And they're kind of a little fragile to the world a bit. They are and they aren't, like when they're in their bubble and then all of a sudden when the bubble bursts and they're like reality, that's kind of when their health can take a hit a little bit. Like, whoa, it's kind of like going outside and not wearing the right coat in the winter. You're just like, oh my gosh, like I was not prepared for this. Like that is how it feels. And then mental health stuff with them in particular, like disassociation a little bit. So I guess with pinks, they can feel cut off from the outside world and they're pretty okay with that. Like they're on a different timeline or existence from anyone else. A lot of times when I talk to pinks, a big thing they feel is like everyone's moving faster than I am, or everyone's on stages that I'm not on yet. And they can misinterpret it like, oh my gosh, is there something wrong with me because I'm not on the same page as the life page as other people? They can feel like they're growing up slower. Okay. And, so it's just, the fact is like sometimes when you're pink, your priorities for life and joy and connection just don't mesh with a lot of other people's, and that's okay. And so just understanding that about yourself and accepting it, and also needing to feel safe in spaces that aren't your own, I feel like is sometimes really helpful for a pink. So being out with people who aren't like you or outside of your little joy bubble, or kind of making you leave your comfort zone a bit, and then saying like, oh my gosh, I brought myself with me. I am confident. I can put up boundaries. I'm in a safe space. I am safe because I speak up for myself, and because I put boundaries up around myself, and because I feel like when pinks come into their power, they are scared of being manipulated when they go out. So it can kind of cause them to be a little bit like sensitive to everything and nervous and like, ooh, I don't want to go there. You're like, so when they kind of bring into their own power into it, and they're like, okay, I'm non-negotiables. I'm going to say no to this and no to that. And like ahead of time, these three things aren't happening tonight or whatever. And kind of when they do that and they stick to it and they're done, and they're like, okay, I'm good. I'm safe. I took care of myself. Like, I'm okay. Then they can feel less, the real world can feel less caustic to them physically. And I hope that makes sense. I want to hear what you have to say. I'm sure you have more things to add to this list. And the conversation can continue over on the Mystic Michaela Spiritual Family page on Facebook. You know this podcast is for you and about you. And I'm so glad you spent some time with us today.
No offense, but your brain is a terrible place to keep your big idea. It belongs in the world, but you know that already. You have a calling, a voice that says, this is what I'm meant to do. Create the website your big idea deserves with Wix. Make it your own with top-to-bottom customization, AI to help realize your vision, and built-in business tools to turn your daydream into your dream job. Wix supports every stage of the business journey except one. Your decision to begin. Ready? Go to Wix.com.